alaikum. Welcome back to Deen Talk. I'm Arifi Waqid, sitting in for Joshua Salam. Today we're talking about the difficulties single Muslim women face in trying to find a suitable partner. So we've been talking a little bit about what is suitable, what are our minimum expectations for a partner, and how has this really changed over time as women have gained more rights, gained more access to education, gained more strength in the workforce, and how have certain male expectations and family cultural expectations not really caught up with this issue?
I did want to quickly backtrack, and I hope I'm staying in line with what we were saying, but earlier I said that our girls are being raised to be women.
Yes.
And they are being raised to be women, but I don't know if they're always being raised to be wives.
Oh,
and
excellent.
so that becomes also a challenge in this process, because there is a piece in becoming a partner that is not all about, I'm all about education. I have a master's in architecture myself, but I think that it's important for us to remember what it is to be part of that responsibility within a marriage as well. And when I'm talking about the guys, I was actually surprised as I heard you guys talking about how the man wants her to be at home and taking care of the family and stuff, because in my experience, not just my personal experience, but working with the youth and in my work, that men are not really looking to be the sole providers. So this is also another piece to that challenge, is that women who do want to stay home aren't always given that platform also.
Well, that's true. In this culture, in American culture, we don't really have the luxury of staying home so much.
Yeah.
It's very hard for a family to exist on a one-income budget.
Yeah.
So we don't really have the option of the traditional stay-at-home mother for a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's not.
But the expectation is still there from us ourselves to be like our moms were, and as well as from the husbands that we're going to be able to take care of all of that on top of the job.
Definitely. I definitely, oh, sorry, no, go ahead,
No,
Mariam.
I just
thought
wanted to scaffold on that it's really important what you said. I have 3 daughters who are in their 20s, and subhanallah, raising a daughter to be also looking and understanding how to be a wife, like you said, is totally different ballgame. So I think just like we have in in high schools, we get that 6 months driver's ed education. That's mandatory, otherwise they won't graduate you. I think it's horrible. But I think they should have that for marriage, getting ready for marriage. Are you ready for marriage? For young men and for young girls as well. In boys, to be really to get out of that boyhood mentality and to really be a survivor and be a protector, provider, supporter, and a guide to his future role, which is being a husband and a father. Is he really ready? Are we really raising our men to be the husbands of tomorrow? We have so much patriarchal cultural baggage that we bring, that we give the extra meat during dinner time to the boy but not to the girl. So we need to question ourselves, and why we are doing what we're doing. Or are the girls supposed to always take out the trash and the boy is sitting there being served? Because we're actually teaching our children from a get-go a set standard and culture bias from the home. So that's problematic from the get-go. And then when he hits teenage life and adult life, when he's ready to be married, he's going to be expecting the same thing that his mom did for him. And he may not receive that from a girl who is, thank God, alhamdulillah, being empowered, and we're living in an educated, a realm of women who are more educated, which is awesome. But then she's going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. That creates conflict within the marriages, creating more divorce in our society, regardless of religiosity.
That's true.
Well, and in addition to these rituals around the home, the mother taking on more responsibility for things like cooking and cleaning and giving the boys priority, there's also the issue of boys needing to be taught their responsibilities as a husband, their responsibilities as a father.
Absolutely.
Because in Islam, if you really look at it, women get it pretty good. Men are the ones that are financially responsible. Men are the ones that have to actually be the providers. Men are the ones that basically have to do anything for the family. I go to work, I get a stipend, I don't have to share. That's mine. I don't have to give it to anyone. But my husband is required to take care of me. He's required to take care of our children if we ever have them, inshallah. And take care of means so much more than just financial. And we need to be able to be raising our boys to understand these responsibilities of marriage, so that they don't think that they're marrying someone who will just fetch them their slippers or
Their maid, not a wife.
exactly.
And then
I was
that's
going
true.
to say,
Go
I
ahead.
think since being recently married, I think I can kind of speak to the idea that I don't think I was prepared to really be married or know really what it was all about, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think either my husband was either, but I think the key that makes a difference is the fact that both of us are willing to learn and communicate, you know? I did not know how to cook, for example, before I got married, which, oh my gosh, you know, probably for some cultures and some people that seems like the critical ingredient towards a happy marriage, but I'm here to tell you it's not, because it's a skill that can be learned. The difference is that I was willing to learn, right? Maybe somebody else would just be like, no, I don't want to do that, you know, screw you, I don't want to do. But I'm like, okay, this is a skill that we both need to learn. So
But see,
it's like a training period,
We
you know?
both need to learn.
Right, we both need to learn, and that's, again, something I talked to my husband about before getting married. You know, how do you view taking care of the household? Do you view this as a team, or is it you do this and I do that? And so I made sure to, you know, talk about that with him, and what I got from him was that, yes, he was willing, you know, to do things to help out, you know, even though that wasn't how he was raised. So going back to the point, just because somebody was raised in that type of household doesn't mean they automatically believe that. And so my husband's a case in point of that. So I think we have to be careful not to lump the person in with their family and how they grew up, because my husband grew up here, so I'm pretty sure he was around assertive women. He saw, you know, he saw a different way of life for women. And of course, when he met me, you know, he knew that I was the type that wasn't going to take any crap. So I think he knew what he was signing up for. And alhamdulillah, I think it makes things easier when we know that we can rely on each other and we can cooperate. You know,
That's
And I
wonderful.
think you
So-
mentioned something else you mentioned that Imam Majid has that 100 questions
Yes.
before marriage that
Yes.
I think that needs to be mentioned and even
That should be
posted
at every
perhaps.
masjid.
That, you know, if before getting married, you know, there's like 100
Yeah.
questions, right?
Where can
100.
we
Yeah.
find this? Where can we
It's
find
on the
this?
website. If you go to the website under marriage services,
right.
you'll find it there.
It's in the book before you
And
tie
it's
the
in the book
knot,
as well.
and you can even just Google it
Yeah.
for
Yes.
free.
There's
Yeah.
also like, I mean, other resources and inshallah, even at the masjid, I know that they're looking to implement the pre-marriage education classes as
Awesome.
well. So
That
that's
should
for
Yeah.
the
definitely-
youth.
every
to
masjid
come
should
in
have
18
that.
and up,
That is amazing.
and hopefully like for 18 to, you know, 20 something, and then a separate one for 30 and above.
Yeah.
Because there are different things that need to be addressed, challenges that need to be addressed as well.
But
Um,
But I agree with what you're saying. Culturally, from a Hispanic background, our culture is a little different. It's kind of where you're the one who stays home and takes care of the house. If you do get a job, then you're also obligated to take care of the kids, make sure their homework, their shower, dinner's on the table, and the man work. But it's more of you're catering to the boys. The boys are catered. Like my boys are very, very spoiled. And that's just my culture sometimes gets in the way. And I have to really see what I'm doing because I don't want to hinder them in the long run when they become husbands. And like the sister said, and expect their wife to do something, because if it doesn't go the way, the first thing they're going to do is call me and be like, well, she's not making me a T-bone steak, Mom. Can I come over and I'll give you that steak? And of course, as Mom, I'm going to be like, okay, son, come on over. But that's not what I want. I want them to have independence. I want them to realize that you need to work for what you get. And but that's why the culture comes in, because I'm like a typical Hispanic woman. Like before I was a stay-at-home student, I worked. I worked since I was 14 years old. Then when I became Muslim, I still worked. I worked in the hospital for 2.5 years. So I know the working field and the non-working field. And me, I'm so used to working, is I have to stay busy, so I go to school. But then I also clean and do everything else I have to do. But I think it's also a lot of culture of the type of person you want to marry, because you might have a certain expectation from your culture, and then say you marry somebody else from Egypt, Pakistan, Afghanistan, or even here that was raised different. And like the sister said, he was raised a certain way, but then he changed to
I
work
think
as a
it's
team.
really communication within
Yeah.
the two.
Communication,
Communication
is
is
a
key.
very big thing.
If you can't expect the woman to know what you're thinking, like you need
Exactly.
to talk to her, tell her, convince her.
And the
of
same thing with
whatever,
the men
yeah.
too,
And
right?
men
So-
too, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
It goes a two-way
Yes,
street.
yes,
It's
two-way.
not one
Please
way.
understand it that I mean it both ways.
Yeah, that's
No, 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 no. It is
yes,
both ways.
for both. Yeah, the communication needs to happen for the marriage to be
Yeah.
vibrant.
That's true. I have a very good communication. Alhamdulillah, with my husband. So,
Well, sisters, it was absolutely amazing getting to talk about this very important topic with you. We've covered the issues of difficulty finding husbands, difficulty finding a wife, difficulty in knowing how to be a good husband or wife, and of course, the difficulty of being a divorced woman who is trying to find a partner again, given the social stigma and all of the cultural baggage that we carry with us that we just can't really quite shrug, no matter how much we know we want to.
you could
It just
try,
comes. It
but
comes.
it's not always easy.
But we do overcome it, as your husband did, alhamdulillah, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, you know, there's always challenges in a marriage. There's nothing perfect.
There's
So-
never
Marriage is
anything
yes,
marriage
yes,
is not perfect, and anyone tells you that is
Alhamdulillah, no.
is not always true.
No.
You're always going to have ups and downs. It's the fact that you get through it, it matters.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us today. It was absolutely wonderful. Thank
Well,
you all
thank you.
Thank you all for watching at home. We appreciate your time.